wait, I forgot the name of it. Endangered pregnancy. How do you say that?
Oh, okay. I know what you mean. I don't
Yeah.
know the
So he
exact term.
specializes in endangered pregnancies, something that is complicated. And he brings life to the world.
Oh, okay. That's something to be really proud of.
I'm very proud of him.
Yeah. So, what were his main concerns in terms of communicating? Like, hey, you shouldn't do this, or I'm worried about you doing this, or
Yeah. Well, first of all, acting is not a stable career. You never know. Are you gonna succeed? Are you gonna make it? Are you gonna earn enough money to pay the bills? And or are you just gonna be? Because there's always this saying about artists that they're hungry all the time and they're poor, and it's I understand why. I understand why it's a hard industry. So he was very cautious about asking me, what if it doesn't work? I just want to make sure that you have a plan B. And I'm like, yeah, acting. And I'm like, what about plan B? Acting. See? Acting.
sometimes in order to be successful, you have to cut the safety net and just take that plunge and do that.
Yeah.
So at the end, he ended up being supportive, I would imagine, especially since you established yourself pretty well.
Yeah.
But on your mother, on the other hand, was she on the same page as your dad, or was she a little more supportive? Or
she was they were both very supportive, but my dad just wanted the answers. He's more analytical. And I told him, listen, and this is for both my parents. My head is up in the sky, but my feet are on the ground. I will find a way to make a living out of it. I will find a way to, whenever you ride the wave and you book a lot of jobs, that's great. And I'll find a way to sustain myself when the wave is low and now it's resting time and recharge.
Yeah. So did you ever battle, in particular, maybe your dad's voice inside your head when you came here, and then maybe things didn't go quite right, or there was something that stood in your way on one thing? Like, was there a moment where your head said, oh, maybe he was right? Or were you always pretty much
all the time?
All the time.
Every day. Every day I have this question, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And then immediately, oh, because I love it and I don't want to do anything else.
Yeah.
And that's
and so that's how you overcame the voice, is by saying, this is what I love to do. I'm going to pursue it regardless of whoever is right or wrong.
Exactly. Yeah. I always ask myself, whenever these questions, these demons show up, I always ask, what would you do? What do you want to do? Okay, let's say you pack your bags, you go back home to Israel. What do you want to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing.
So it's something you feel like you're meant to do in terms of being an actress.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such an interesting thing to have to be able to control your mind in that way, because a lot of times some people have said that the human mind is not designed to make you happy. It's actually designed to create a perpetual state of anxiety and doubt, because you're always looking out for danger or the ability to survive. And that it's our conscious mind that is the one that has to get inside our mind and try to direct it towards the direction, much like a car, that you'd want to go. But it seems like you've done such an effective job of doing that. So you shut the voices out in your head, you hopped on a plane, and you came to the United States. Have you been to the United States prior to?
No.
So it was a brand new country, brand new culture, brand new currency, food, all of that stuff. And so one of the things that I've always found interesting about people who come from other countries, the immigrant story of, I only had $25, $100 in my pocket, and I came with a dream to be a doctor, an actress, this or that or the other, or better life, whatever the case is. And when I played in my mind, I'm like, okay, if the roles were reversed and I had to go to a different country for off of a decision, or maybe I was forced, would I have the guts and the wherewithal to be able to go to another country and be successful, adopt the language, the culture, and all these things? And I do question myself on that. It's because it is one of the bravest things a person can do. So in terms of coming over and Did you have any fear like that where, oh my gosh, I'm going to a different country, I don't really know anything, and
Yeah.
I don't know if you did have a plan coming in, or did you just come in and then start looking for work, or how did that all go for you?
So I did it in two short steps. The first step, I said, okay, I'm gonna go to the United States to learn in a certain acting school that I wanted to learn, to study acting, to see if I like it, if I can get around with the English, if I can act in a different language, because it's different, acting in a different language.
Did you know English before you came over?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
But I worked on it. When I knew it was coming, I started watching more American TV shows and without subtitles, which was really hard
Yeah.
at first.
I heard a lot of immigrants that do come over, they learn English from, well, so I'm an 80s child. And so when uh, people around my parents and they came and they had to learn English, they learned it from soap operas and watching TV that way. And I don't think there were subtitles back then on TV. So, but
Wow.
that's a really interesting way to pick up on the language. But
Yeah.
so when you came here, then I would assume that you had to pick up a few odd jobs or along the way, or how did you get your first job? And
So when I decided that I wanted to stay here, there was a point where I came back home for a little bit just to sort out, the visa issues, and not issues, but sort out a working visa and then come here. And when I landed here, I just started looking for anything related to the industry. And I found this incredible job. I was working with this guy, with this production company who owns fake cop cars and wardrobe for sets,
oh,
like cops and EMTs and all sorts of uniforms. So I was working with him, which is how I got to bump into Keanu Reeves.
oh, okay. So I know we were going to talk about that story.
Yeah.
So okay, let's delve into that. What happened with Keanu Reeves?
So I was driving a detective car, one of those really nice Crown Vics with the lights. Like, it looked really legit, like a detective car. And I was supposed to drop off the car on one set, but before that, to go over to a set where Keanu Reeves was supposed to be in and drop off a couple of uniforms. And as I arrived there, I'm kind of sneaking around. I'm like looking around crafty. I'm like, maybe I'll get to see Keanu Reeves because I really like him. He's such a good person. And I noticed that everybody on set were kind of antsy and like. And I said, you know what? Let me just like go drive the car to the other set because it feels like maybe they're a little tight on schedule. I don't know. Something didn't feel right. 2 minutes into driving, I see Keanu Reeves on the side of the road with his motorcycle stuck. And I'm like, I think that's Keanu Reeves. And I flipped the most illegal Huey in the world. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that on camera. But I said I was in a detective car. Who's going to pull me over? And I pulled over, got out of the car, and I go to him and I say, excuse me, Mr. Reeves, are you lost? And he looks at me, as a matter of fact, yes. Are you trying to get to the set of Swedish Detectives? Yes.
So how did you know that?
Yeah, so I told him that I was working with the set and he can just follow me. And the whole ride, I'm like, use the blinkers, be really nice, don't pull the brakes too hard.
Yeah.
You gotta protect this man.
I heard that, like, you hear so many different stories about different Hollywood personalities. And that's got to be difficult, too, to be in the public eye and have a constant amount of scrutiny,
Yeah.
especially at the level that he's probably at.
Yeah,
But
I was
he's,
trying to be very professional and very cautious.
but, he's one of those few actors, though, that nobody has anything bad to say about. Like, he seems to have this disposition where he's friendly to everybody. And
Yeah.
I saw one TMZ episode where they were taking pictures of him through the airport, and he's friendly to everybody. And he could probably have every right to be, irritated or upset with, being followed around, and sometimes you just want your privacy. But he seems to always handle those situations in a very elegant way. And no, that's such a fun story that you had opportunity to bump into him in that way. But
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
so now that you're here and you're acting and you're in feature films, independent films, is there any one of those? Well, let's like with the acting school. I think did you mention that you did an acting school over here, or did you do all your education in Israel in terms of acting?
Both. I will continue studying until I die, I think. I don't think this art form is something that you can just master to a level that you can't learn anything additional. I feel like this art form is something that you can always get better and find new things and new techniques and new keys to how to get to that point and how to do this. And
Yeah. One
yeah,
of the interesting quotes I think that you made when we were off camera was like, "You're not sure you're the best, but you strive to be every
yeah.
day."
I'm sure I'm not the best. I'm not the best actress out there. But I do strive to be, so I will work on it as
Yeah.
much as I can.
It's interesting the concept of wanting to be the best at any one thing, and especially when it comes to acting, because it's. Uh, I think the actors and actresses always bring something about themselves that's very individually unique. So I guess
Yeah.
saying, "Oh, to be the best actor or actress" would be kind of a relative or subjective a view of things. But so if I were to ask you an actress or an actor that you thought was the best or near the top of what you would aspire to want to be, which one would you say that?
Oh gosh, there's so many, and they keep flipping in my head. But I really love Viola Davis.
Okay.
I love that she is so powerful and still. I love her stillness. You just point a camera at this woman, and it's some magic is gonna happen there. I always appreciated and loved Sandra Bullock because of two things. She always tries to get better. Like after her success, after Speed, I think she
Oh
became
yeah,
this
yeah.
huge actress. But she kept on working and getting better and better, and she doesn't take herself too seriously. Like she won the Worst Actress Award, the Grazia
Oh
Awards,
gosh.
and a day later she picked up a Oscar. I think it was was it for
Gravity, The
Gravity
Blind Side, maybe.
or Blindside?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could have
So
been one of those.
yeah, so one of those. So she's the only actress who will go to the Grazia Awards and say, "I want to thank to the worst movie I've ever done. I will put this right next to the Oscar that she literally took a day later." And it was so cool, and I love that. It shows some level of like she's human.
Yeah. So with like Viola Davis, and you mentioned her strength or her presence on cameras, like is that a technique you feel that she has, or do you think that's something that's intrinsically part of who she is?
I feel
And
like that's who she is.
okay, so if you were to try to pick up on how she acts, uh, is there something you take from her acting that you apply in terms of how you pursue your acting or what you do on camera?
Um, I still haven't figured out how she does what she does. I think it's also
It's hard to
something.
reverse engineer somebody, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's also very personal because she draws from her own life and she has her own intensity, and I have my own. I know that I'm a little more fragile, but this is the quality that I bring to the camera. Um, and I'm trying to be very honest and very raw, not push and not prettify. Like, I don't care about being pretty on camera. Of course, it's fun to be pretty on camera, but I want to be real on camera.
Yeah. I would imagine acting is somewhat difficult in terms of the fact that there are different techniques and principles that people have to use. But at the same time, there must be something that you have to bring out that's intrinsically you
Hmm.
in order to make it all kind of work. How does a actor or actress do that, or how do you do that?
I first try to let it, when I read the script, I let it sit with me. Like, what what happened? How did it make me feel when I read it? Because words can be very, very powerful. Like, there are scripts that just by reading them, my heart is like breaking into